Welcome back to another deep dive. This is where we sift through different sources, pull things apart a bit, really try to find those key insights for you. Today, we're looking at something, well, it started as just an event announcement, but it's got this surprising mix of things that really makes you want to look closer. So the source is basically an announcement for the Women Financial Empowerment Conference in Macon, Georgia. And what catches your eye isn't only the topic, but, the specifics. November 8th in Macon. It definitely makes you curious, right? So let's try and unpack this a bit. What makes an event like this really stand out? And based on the announcement, what sort of deeper insights or connections might be there?
Well, I think what's really insightful right off the bat is just that an event like this exists, so focused, at the community level, a conference specifically for women's financial empowerment in a specific place like Macon. It immediately tells you it's likely meeting a specific need there. It's not some huge general finance seminar. It's tailored. And that usually means it's aiming for really practical, usable advice, maybe even on a more personal level for the people attending.
Yeah, that idea of being responsive, that sounds really engaging. And the announcement actually says, ladies, you asked for it. Which kind of hints that this came from the community,
Exactly.
It makes it feel less like just another conference and more like, they're actually delivering on a request. Makes it feel super relevant.
Precisely. And then it introduces the keynote speaker, Dr. Melinda Adams, and her topics. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, I think, because she's covering this really unusual pairing. It's women in mental health and getting federal contracts for your business. The real insight here maybe isn't just that they're paired, but the idea behind it, the recognition that financial empowerment isn't only about the external stuff, the opportunities, it's also deeply about your internal capacity to actually go after them.
That's such a crucial point, and one that, a lot of traditional financial advice just skips over. Women often face these specific barriers, right? Systemic things, internal things, like biases in getting contracts or just the mental load of juggling everything. So just knowing the how-to isn't enough if you don't also address that inner resilience needed to actually use the information. This conference seems to get that yes. Success isn't just knowing the rules, but having the mental strengths to play the game. But, okay, here's a thought. Is there a risk? Trying to cover both mental wellness and something as concrete and, frankly, complicated as federal contracting, could they end up, watering each other down?
That's a fair question, but I suspect the organizers are counting on synergy, right? Not dilution. The key understanding, I think, is how mental well-being impacts things like cognitive biases when you make financial decisions, or, the psychological hurdles to even trying to land big opportunities. It's not just, manage your stress. It's more about building that psychological capital, that inner resourcefulness you need to keep going, especially in tough areas like federal contracting where you might face rejection.
Right.
The two are actually really interconnected.
It really does make you think how many standard business workshops just miss that whole personal side.
Yeah.
Let's dig into the mental health part a bit more. What kind of specific challenges related to mental well-being do you think this conference might touch on, especially for women aiming for financial empowerment or running a business?
Well, often it's about tackling things like imposter syndrome, that feeling you don't belong or aren't qualified, or burnout, which is huge when you're juggling so many roles. The emotional hit from financial setbacks is another big one. And these aren't just, soft issues. They directly affect your willingness to take risks, how you negotiate, your ability to just keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
And for women, sometimes societal expectations add another layer of pressure that can really impact financial confidence.
That makes total sense. Okay, so you build this foundation of mental well-being, and then the conference shifts gears to something really tangible, like federal contracts. We hear about those a lot, but maybe for listeners who aren't familiar, what makes getting federal contracts such a big deal? And why are they considered so complex?
Right. Well, getting federal contracts can be incredibly lucrative, game-changing for a small business. But yes, they are notoriously complex. You're dealing with really detailed rules like the federal acquisition regulations.
Okay.
You need to understand specific programs like set-asides for women-owned businesses. And then there are these intricate online systems like sam.gov where you bid. So giving guidance on those specific things, that's way beyond generic business advice. It's targeted, high impact. It can lead to really stable, significant income for a business. It's a direct route to serious growth.
So putting it together, if mental strength is key, how do you think this focus on well-being will actually help a woman, practically speaking? Like help her navigate those complex government websites or stick with a difficult bid?
I think it creates a kind of positive feedback loop. When you have that internal resilience, you can better handle the stress of all the paperwork, right? You feel more confident pursuing those big opportunities in the first place. You have the mental stamina to maybe face rejection and try again. So your actual ability to successfully deal with the complex world of federal contracts goes up. It's empowering the person so they can effectively grab the external opportunity.
It really does sound like a very comprehensive way of thinking about it. And just practically, for anyone listening who thinks, wow, that sounds like exactly what I need, the announcement mentions that early registration is open, and it gives a way to connect emailing drlinda.com to pay. So they're making it accessible right away.
Yeah, keeping it direct.
So what a fascinating deep dive this turned out to be. We started with this event announcement, the Women Financial Empowerment Conference in Macon, Georgia on November 8th. And we've seen how it's doing something pretty different. It's not just about the tools, but about building the capacity to use those tools. It does this by linking personal well-being, women and mental health, with very direct business growth, getting federal contracts, all led by Dr. Melinda Adams. And yeah, registration's open now via drlinda.com.
And that focus, that holistic approach, it really does make you think, doesn't it, about how combining that inner work, that resilience with tangible external strategies, how that might fundamentally change someone's whole path to success. It really suggests the true power might be in integrating them, that maybe that's where truly transformative results come from.
Exactly. And for you listening right now, maybe the takeaway from this deep dive is seeing how specific targeted knowledge, like what this conference seems to offer, blending that mental resilience with high-level business know-how, how that could be a really powerful combination for your own journey, journey towards financial independence and overall well-being. Makes you think, what will you empower yourself with next?